Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, Orcs Magic, and it's Jordan here. And boy oh boy, do I have an unusual deck for you today, ladies and gentlemen. So, I was recently watching some random streams and stuff like that, and I believe I saw a card called Blightkeeper. And I thought to myself, well, you know, it's a 1/1 for 1 with flying. It's not too bad. Has an 8 mana ability which you can sack it and you can make your opponent lose 4 life and you gain life. And I thought to myself, well, actually, this is, with the amount of low-cost flyers we currently have in the format, maybe there is a deck we can build around of the old archetype, which is Flying Men. Now, recently, Saffron Olive did a deck tech around Favorable Winds for Modern, so I'm looking at it in terms of Standard. So, to begin with, the main card that we obviously use for this deck is Favorable Winds. It is a 2-mana enchantment. Basically, creatures that we control with flying get a +1/+1. So basically, the main theme of this deck is every single creature flies. And it is very, very sweet. So, to begin with, in the 1-drop slots, we are running Blightkeepers and Siren Stormtamers. Benefit with this is Blightkeeper, as I said before, is that late game is that we can get an 8-point life swing, which is very sweet. And Siren Stormtamer is basically an updated Judge's Familiar. But you have to pay, obviously, rather than just being able to sacrifice it normally. But obviously, you can counter target spell or ability that targets you or a creature that you control. So this can effectively get around some board wipes, such as Settle the Wreckage, because that has to target opponent. It can also, obviously, targeted removal and various things like that. It can also help with. Moving into the 2-drop slots, we have Kitesail Freebooters and Stormfleet Aerialists. Basically, the Aerialists obviously has a raid trigger on it, which effectively gets a 1/1 counter if we've attacked with a creature this turn, which means naturally it's going to come in as a 2/3. If we have favourable winds on the boards, it just gets bigger and bigger and it's harder to deal with. Kitesail Freebooter, on the other hand, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent has to reveal his hand, and we get to choose a non-creature, non-land card from it, and then we exile that card until the Freebooter leaves the battlefield. This can get rid of spot removal and board wipes, not to mention other win cons or things that are maybe going to shut down bits of our deck. Moving on into the 3-drop slot, we are running Nimble Obstructionist and Siren Lookout. Basically, with Siren Lookout, when it ends the battlefield, we get to explore, so otherwise we get to reveal the top card of our library, and if it's a non-land card, we get a 1/1 counter on the creature, which makes it a 2/3. Or it's a land card, it'll go straight to hand, and it comes in as a 1/2. Either way, we're getting a bit of card advantage, a card draw. It's useful setting this up. The Nimble Obstructionist is a natural 3/1 with flash and flying, and you can also cycle it for 3 mana, and when we do cycle it, so not only do we get to draw a card, but we can counter target activated ability or a triggered ability that we don't control. So things like exert triggers, which are currently flying around, or even some of the abilities from activated, like from the Scarab God, where he's trying to bring back things from the graveyard. So it generally can be rather useful. Obviously it's a 3/1 with flash, so you can flash this in at the end step and swing for quite a big amount of damage if you got favourable winds on the board. And in the 4-drop slot, we are running Dreamcaller Siren. Now, this is a 3/3 body with flash and flying, and it can only block creatures with flying, boo-hoo. But whenever it enters the battlefield, if we control another pirate, which we do with the Kitesails and the Siren Stormtamers, we get to tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. So this can help us swing for quite a lot of lethal damage late game, or it can flash in on your opponent's turn to stop them attacking with 2 creatures. Moving on into the 5-drop slot, we are running Experimental Aviators and Glyph Keepers. Now, with Glyph Keepers, benefit is it's 5/3 body, and basically it'll counter the first spell or ability that targets it, and not only that, you can also get it back from the graveyard later on with this Embalm cost. Experimental Aviator, even though it's a 0/3, it brings to the board 2 Thopters, which are also 1/1 flyers. So effectively, with favourable winds on the board, this gets a decent body, and the Thopter tokens will also get a good body with that too. And that is it for the creatures. Moving on for the last of the bit of the deck, we have 4 Fatal Pushes. Reasons for this is just obviously spot removal, remove some of the weak things so we can get a bit of early damage, which is rather nice. Moving on into the land base, we are running Drowned Catacomb and Fetid Pools as our dual colours. Drowned Catacomb obviously enters the battle untapped if we control an island or a swamp, and Fetid Pools is good to us for early game fixing, or we can use it as late game card draw if we need to. And then we have 10 islands and 4 swamps, so just very basic. It was tempting to put in a few desert synergies and stuff like that, but I thought, you know what, I just want to keep it simple for the moment. You know, it might develop on as an idea once I've playtested it a bit more. So that is it for the main deck. Moving on into the sideboard side of things, we basically start off with some control elements that we can swap in. So we have 4 Duresses to start with. This card I would generally bring in against the Approach Against the Second Sun deck. Anything that's going to start running in board wipes, which is probably quite a few colours. So it's going to be good to help control the board as it goes. We then have 4 Negates. This is to deal with the control matchup. We then have Bontu's Last Reckoning. This is going to be played mainly against the aggressive strategy, so Ramanap Red is the most common one at the moment. We then have 2 Lost Legacy. Benefit with this is that obviously we can stop alternate win con decks quite effectively, and it also can help control some of the board state going forward. And finally we have Essence Extraction. Benefit with this is it's another removal spell, but not only that, it's a life gain spell, so this can be quite useful going forward. And that is pretty much it for the deck, and I was debating about putting in obviously a bit more graveyard hit and stuff like that. Decided against it in the end because I figured I want to do my own thing. But this is one of my newer brews. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm missing something quite obvious, because I'm always honest, I ain't the perfect brewer just yet. I am getting there slowly but surely. And I always want to know what your thoughts and feelings are with regards to the deck. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for this week's Deck Tech. I have been your host, Jordan, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you for watching the video. Please remember to hit that like button, it supports the channel for free. Also subscribe, and remember, if you don't want to miss any videos, hit the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching again. Goodbye.